We're here for our second Smart Recruiters demo because the first one we didn't get time to see one of the most interesting parts of the system, which is everyone's favorite thing these days, the AI feature and solutions that Smart Recruiters have. It's called Winston AI. So that's what we're here for today. We have from the Smart Recruiters team, we have Daniel, who's an account executive. I think we're all located in Berlin today from the Smart Recruiters team. And no, not in Berlin, in Germany.
In Germany.
Sorry, we're located in Germany. And we have Gabe with us today, who's a solution consultant. He's going to be showing us all through the product. So welcome to the Smart Recruiters team. Thanks for joining us again. And today we also have our co-host, Renita. She is, well, not only someone from my personal network who is one of my friends, but also she is a global TA leader. She has 20 years experience in the recruitment space, leading teams, and she knows exactly what to look for when it comes to an ATS and what kind of features and solutions, she's challenged in the past. So she's the perfect person today to join us to, of course, ask questions. So thank you so much for joining us. Great. Then we're going to kick off with Daniel. I think what we should do is maybe set the scene a little bit. How does Smart Recruiters, they've got this AI feature. How did they think about AI and why did they bring, Winston to the world? What is it that they are trying to achieve with their, solution in the AI space? Talk to us a little bit about that, and then we can jump into the actual, seeing the system itself.
Yeah, that's a good question. So we developed basically Winston because there is a need in the market, and so what we see here is we face the reality. So 60% of companies still see the talent shortage as the biggest challenge. And at the same time, 58% of the TA leaders are under pressure to increase efficiency. So while 31% even expect a sudden reduction of recruiting capacity, we see in short recruiting is under massive pressure. There are more and more candidates, fewer resources, and higher expectations, and that is something we want to cure basically with Winston with AI. So it's it's a great tool we have everywhere. So it's you see Winston everywhere in the system, working in the background to basically make recruiters more efficient and to bring a real value to the whole TA team.
Great. I mean, this is really interesting to see this because I feel like we all feel it. Like, I think all the teams feel this kind of pain and this pressure. And I think the tooling really, at least for me, in my experience, and Renita, you have this experience too, but, it really does hurt to have the wrong tooling and the tooling that doesn't help you get there. And especially these days when there is so much technology, not having it at your fingertips, I think puts a company, on the back foot, because the teams that have it are going to be 10x the teams that don't have it. So I feel like, not only is there pressure on teams, but there's just pressure on business to keep up to date. So very, very timely, obviously, that we're talking about this.
Yeah, exactly. So so basically, it's not just an advantage to use it. I think there's a real need because everyone using AI, even in private, is it's I don't know Glean or ChatGPT or something like that. And it isn't if you're not using it, you will fall off. I think that is something everyone needs, in some way. Not for your personal refrigerator at home, but for sure, if you're in TA or using the tech.
I would also do the personal refrigerator at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, great points there in both sides, because as a TA leader or as somebody who needs to be the one in the other side, normally buying the technology or being, caring about that, how my team can be more efficient, more productive, bring more quality. And also with all of those AI tooling, for me, it's super important that how we create more space and more time to the teams to be more human in the process.
Yeah.
Rather not contrary, throwing lots of tools to the solution, which not helping and which not really, doing their thing. And then people are more confused and even more, apps to follow up or open and whatsoever. That I'm super curious, how Winston can help.
Yeah, and that's the point, and that's all the point how we developed Winston, because we said it's not about throwing AI into the room because it's a fancy technology. It's what are the most challenging pieces of talent acquisition at the moment. And yes, I mean we slide it into 4 topics or 4 pillars, if you would call it that way. So we are all speaking about candidate experience since I don't know how many years in TA. So this was obviously one point. The other point, and you mentioned it, how can we make you within the recruiting space much more efficient, but also giving you the right tools to have the right visibility. So just an example, and this is another piece, Winston Match. It's all about identifying top talents based on their skills, based on their experience, based on their education, but also based on the requirements coming from the job. And how can you match this? And how can technology support us in creating a summary, having an overview of regarding skills and experience? But then at this point, we don't stop. Then the next challenge is coming in TA, the whole screening phase, where it's all about who is in the pipeline, who's suited best to go to the next step, and how can AI support you also within these steps. And at the end, we created an assistant for candidates. Why not also create an assistant for you in recruiting and also for the hiring managers, where you can ask some simple questions and just having an assistant that will provide you the answers without clicking into the solution and losing time. And you see, we are coming more from what are the challenges and how can we solve that? And AI, for me, it's a tool like automation. It's a tool like using WhatsApp and text message in communication. So it's just another tool in my tool set that will help us.
I'm really excited to see this. Like, I feel like it's, I mean, I really enjoyed seeing Smart Recruiters for the first time with Daniel last time.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested to see just like those different kind of stages, the 4 kind of pillars that you have there, how it works. So please take it away and show us what this thing can do, because I feel like this is probably one of the most interesting tools that people, and that people tell me they're interested to see. So I think everyone's more than happy to.
So let me start with the candidate experience. So we all know these kind of chatbots that we are using on different career sites at the moment. They are rule-based. So what we thought about was, and Renita, I know this is often a challenge when you're bringing in new technology. It's very hard to implement and it's also hard to maintain. So our approach was, why not using a Winston Chat as an AI chat, which is trained on your career site, on the blogs you're using, and every time you're changing the content there, the chat is up to date. So let's say I'm a candidate, I'm coming to your on your career site, and of course,
Second, Gabe, I think you want to share your screen. We just see the slide.
You can't see? Oh wow.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like letting him finish his sentence, but how about you need to maybe like stop sharing and then share a different window of your screen.
Yeah, but I thought that I shared my whole you know what? I'm sharing my entire screen. I think this is better.
Yeah,
now
then as you change it will exactly.
Here we are.
Now we can see.
Perfect. So let's say of course, I have to accept the privacy policy after reading through, and now I'm here. And you see, it's not only about applying for a job. It's also, let's say, I have different questions regarding the company. I want to know what are your approaches in terms of DE&I, or for example, is it possible to work from home, and these kind of questions, or who is the CEO, and this information, they will be taken directly from the existing career page or for some blogs where Winston Chat was trained on. So I can have here, for example, an overview what our approach looks like in terms of the flexibility where we are working. And there was one of our colleagues, Karen, a couple of months ago, she created a video, some blog posts regarding this approach. And now I can make myself familiar with the organization, can ask who is the CEO and ask things. And why is that important? Because these are typically the questions I'm asking Renita, you maybe in a first interview. And this can make your life easier. And by the way, Winston is ready 24/7, so he can answer at any day and night time to these kind of questions. But also, when I'm interested, for example, I was in London last year for business reasons, and really I fell in love with the city. I said, do you have jobs in London? That maybe I'm interested in working in London. And then Winston is taking a look, and not only showing me the openings here, I can also say, well, that's interesting. Now let's put this on a map. And as you can see now, I can see what are the jobs, where are the jobs. Maybe I can also do a search based on where I'm living. And this will bring me into the whole flow and make this candidate experience very, very valuable for me as a candidate.
I just maybe add on. I think it was super good that you can ask, especially the ways of working, because I think this is very important question. That can I work remotely? Can I work from home? Can I work from, let's say, from different countries? Is it hybrid? What actually does it mean? Because I think this kind of things also help candidates, themselves opt in or opt out. If I'm looking for remote and then there's actually explanation that no, it's actually work from home, then I can say, okay, this is not for me. And we're actually dealing one problem currently in talent acquisition, that you have too many applications, and you don't want to create add-on there, because then you can't actually deal with them with the quality time and through all of them. But you will talk about that probably later as well, how it's helping there. But I think it's super good that less, more I know, the more also candidate can opt out themselves and see, is this job or this company for me or not?
Yeah, I really like that. Is it also something, Gabe, where, you said it can read whatever's available? Is that just on the career side, or is it also through can you also upload other knowledge-based things for questions, or is it something you would then have to create onto your career site for it to read it?
As an organization, you're deciding what is the training source here. Okay, so when we're implementing it, you're defining what the training source is. And by the way, you can also define, for example, the tone of voice. You can have the colors. I'm just giving you an example. This is one of our customers down under. They implemented Winston Chat, but they called it Dr. Wisdom Tooth. and also you can define, is it more like a more formal way the chat is speaking, or more like
interesting,
an easy way. So yeah, making sure that it's also the tone of your company and your company culture that you're bringing into this chat, because let's say this is the first touch point for me as a candidate, and that's the first experience I'm making with your organization. And even when you're going more down the line within the process, you apply for a job, maybe you're getting a phone call, then Winston will remind you, sending you a WhatsApp after you provided your phone number. But also, for example, I want to know, what is the interview process look like usually? And I can also provide some sources here where we are also explaining how the interview process it looks like, and it takes this out of the system and the process that is configured there. So to make it real easy and to summarize it, make improving in terms of the whole candidate experience piece, and using AI, and yes, in a very personal way, and not having the feeling I'm speaking to a robot, but also making this very, very conversational. Yeah, before I go to the next steps and how we can look for the best candidates,
I have no idea why that emoji just got clicked. I'm sorry.
I think that's so funny. I
was trying to click unmute, but my mouse was in the wrong spot. Sorry.
Did I make a joke? Okay, which brings us to the next point. Let's say we have a lot of good candidates who applied for the job. And as you know it from a lot of ATS, maybe in the experience you had in the past, of course, I can see now these are all the applicants who applied here for the marketing manager job. In this case, it's, in London. So beside all the information that I have, you see here these little numbers here, it's a match score. And this match score is generated automatically using AI. So what are we doing here? On the one hand, the system is looking at the requirements coming from the job in terms of skills, in terms of experience, in terms of education. On the other hand, every candidate who applied and uploaded a CV, the system is also taking a look at the CV, and then generating a summary. So this summary is AI generated. So speaking about the strengths, but also about the gaps that were discovered within the CV based on technical skills. Yes, these are the skills you can find, like so many years in marketing strategy, business to business experience, and so on. But it's also showing you, and I think this is important for the confidence that you have in AI, also showing you how they are rated towards different skills, but not only in terms of technical skills, but also in terms of transferable skills. Let's say Hannah made some experience in terms of communication or interpersonal communications in some other roles she had in the past. But this could be also very valuable for the job she's applying to. And we can do that because we have a big LLM behind it, a huge database with skills where the AI magic comes from. So having this, not only looking the skills or here on the job requisition, where is it in the CV? It's also understanding what is needed and then providing with this information. And then in addition to that, also with the work experience and the education piece, which gives you as a recruiter the possibility at the beginning, especially when you're having a lot of application for a job, also to focus on, to say, well, in the first step, I will focus on the candidates with the 3 and 4. Then let's go, let's say, frame by frame and prioritize a little bit and on how we can work on it. The important thing is, and this brings us also to the EU AI Act, there's no decision taken here. It's information that is there, that is created. And being a recruiter myself in the past, I know that what I did manually at that time was, of course, taking a look at the requirements and taking a look at the skills and trying to summarize it in a way. But if we go to, let's go to another candidate here, for example, that is maybe not that strong. Also having okay, where are the gaps here? There are skill gaps in marketing strategy, marketing management, and so on. Bring in this summary, and again, yes, makes me more efficient as a recruiter, which is an important point here, but also taking a look which are the best candidates from a skill and experience perspective.
One question, I think it's just in lying into that how well also the hiring managers and the recruiters doing the preparation work. I mean, the intake meeting where this core information comes from, the job profile, the preparation, and so on, that somehow we need to then rooting out that somebody is just, taking the neighbor's job ad in LinkedIn and pasting it there. And then we, based off this information, we start to matching the candidates, that this kind of homework need to be done and some sort of skills mapping before that to have, to kind of empower the AI to do their job correctly. Do I understand correctly?
And I mean, yes, of course, there you have to describe it within your job description in an accurate way. And also the CV that is coming in should have at least, this was my job and this were the years that I was on the job. And based on this information, then AI can do their magic. But please keep in mind, this is just the beginning of the process. This is the first touch with when I'm looking at it in terms of the match score. And this brings me to the next step, because of course, then you are going maybe into some first Teams interviews you will have with the candidate, maybe also taking here this summary as a good starting point in going into a conversation, because you see, well, maybe there's a gap, there are some strengths, let's speak about it, what was your experience? And then based on that, you're moving candidates maybe to the next step. And what you then can do is, and you see it here, we have all applicants, but we also have top applicants. On a later stage, and you can decide when it's the right point to do so, you can have questions that are also AI generated based on the job description that are asking some more in-depth questions like, do you have experience launching products on a global scale? Or this role requires traveling up to 50%. Are you willing to do so? And in a later stage, you can ask these kind of questions that are AI generated. And then based on the answers, and let's say the candidate will receive it via email, via WhatsApp, whatever channel is preferred here. And then based on the answers, then we can also create this kind of shortlisting. So you can see, okay, what were the answers of the candidates regarding these questions? And then you can decide who I want to move to the next step. Maybe I have some additional questions. I will arrange an interview or a short phone call, whatever the next steps may look like. But then these are the next steps. And of course, Daniel spoke about it. Within our automation possibilities on a certain step, you can also decide to have a sort of an assessment center invitation that will go out automatically, just to prove it that you really have the skills you are describing within your CV. We know this is one of the main challenges during such a process.
I think the CAP thing is actually very good in that point. That might be that person just didn't even add that in their CV. It's not means that they don't have the skill. Maybe they forget it. Maybe it wasn't so important in the previous job and so on. And then you have it there, at least pointing it out, that you as a recruiter can then take that and make sure that if it's there or not. Because I think very often the skills and experience is there. We just, don't look for that or don't ask for that. And then we just assuming that the person don't have it. And then, the person is not participating. We'll say, okay, it's not getting the next round or blah, 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 because it's missing that. But we actually didn't ask or didn't dig deeper on that. That's why I think it's super good a reminder there that, go and ask, dig in more, like that's, it might be there. And then we make sure not assuming based on something.
Yes. And again, my thoughts are that this makes us stronger within the recruiter position, because by not wasting my time with a lot of administrative stuff, I can focus here on the things that really matters. And AI can also make things more visible and can also support me in asking the right questions. And Renita, as you said before, maybe I'm looking through the whole process and saying, yeah, maybe it's my mistake not asking these kind of questions. And this brings a little bit more quality also into the process.
And Gabe, on this, this is always like the sticking point for a lot of people when it comes to AI matching kind of features. What's the compliance aspect here? Because it's obviously, do you have your reasoning shared? Is it very clear that this is something that's an indicator, not as a decision maker? Do you need to accept, press a button to say, I've actually decided to move this person forward, not just move people forward based on it being automatic? Is there something in here to encourage people to use their brains too? Because I think it's too easy to be lazy and go oh, well, they're the top picks, boop, just push them forwards. And, there is no thought behind it. So for me, that's, really interesting to see how, you handle that component of the matching indications that you provide, and what kind of push there is on your side to recruiters about that.
So there are a lot of layers in this question, of course.
Yeah, sorry.
When we are developing our AI technology and our modules, what we are doing, obviously we have developers on the project. Obviously we have product manager on the project, but we also have people coming from compliance, from the legal aspect, because we all know there is the EU AI Act with all the topics that are included and all the things you have to take care of. And being in HR, of course, this is a high sensitive area we are in. So what we are doing, for example, to make sure that there's no bias going into the solution and into the technology, that the whole algorithm will be retrained on a regular basis. So we have certain data sets we are bringing in, we're looking at the results, and because when we as humans are working with technology, there is some bias going into the technology, and we have always to take a look on it that it remains unbiased. So this is one thing. On the other hand, yes, from an UI perspective, you see that we're often working here with some informations that we are providing within here. But yes, it's important that AI is not making a decision here. So it's always creating information, bringing information together, and me as a person, or as a recruiter, I have then to decide, okay, is this someone that I wanna move to the next step? And within your organization, of course, you can then combine that with different other things that Daniel presented last time. So, for example, when I'm going here and I'm deciding, okay, now I have to give a review Of course, I can give an overall review, but I can also work with some scorecards that will make it more visible why I rated a person with 3, 4, or 5 stars. And I don't write in here because AI told me so, but more like what's really my impression of the candidate here. So
At least we hope so, right?
always a mixture, right?
Everyone should be doing that, right?
And last but not least, and as I said before, we have an assistant for a candidate, and you see here this little guy on the right side. And if I'm clicking here, this is Winston Companion, and this is from a module perspective, the youngest one. It's at the moment this is a very this is early beta that I'm showing you. It's in early access at the moment. It will be go to general availability, I think, in 1 or 2 months. So this is, I wouldn't say a small assistant. It's an assistant that can help you as a recruiter, but also as a hiring manager. So for example, I'm going here, I'm saying, okay, I want to schedule interviews, or what are the next interviews I have to schedule? And now it is looking into the jobs where I'm part of the hiring team, saying, hey, look, there are different jobs you're working on at the moment. For which job should I create, or should I look into what are the upcoming interviews or the interviews you have to create? I'm going in here, you see, okay, for the stage new, and then it's bringing up the list. So having really an assistant that is supporting me here with different use cases within TA, but also with the possibility to prompt, and not only here on the web interface. Let's say I'm a manager and I'm traveling a lot. Why not also connecting that to WhatsApp? And I have something to do. And you see here, yesterday I just created a short conversation. I want to schedule interviews. I see 5 jobs. So you can also use Winston Companion directly from WhatsApp, and then also going into some use cases here. And at the end, why are we doing this? It's all about user acceptance. If you have a high user acceptance of a system, of course you will be faster, you will be also better within the process. And for me, this is another tool how you can improve also the acceptance, for example, for your hiring managers or from a recruiter perspective. And the thing is, and I will give you a little bit of an outlook where it is going. This is just the beginning, because we are also thinking about, let's speak about reporting and analytics. Why not having now Winston Companion, and I can ask some questions regarding analytics, and please provide me some dashboards in terms of time to hire of the last 3 months. Create me a dashboard. This is something we are working on at the moment. Or another one, I'm not sure how this will be accepted, especially in Europe, like agentic interview, where you have a first interview with Winston regarding different topics. I saw it in a first beta, looks great. Very, very curious where we are going here.
Very interesting that that's something on the roadmap, or especially maybe not for all regions, like you said, but at least on the roadmap to have a look at. Thank you for showing us this. This has been really interesting. It's I think it's one of those things where it's just the point of it, from my perspective, is to make the human, a 10x human, and to amplify your time in the right space, and to take away the admin and the repetitive and the things that don't add as much value, right? And things that AI are good at, let it do it. Things that humans need to be good at and need to be, watchful of as well. We need to have the space and the time and energy to do that. So, thank you for showing us. Renita, do you have any final comments or questions on this?
Yeah, actually, I was super curious that is there anything in the plans also support more in like a hiring manager side? Because you know that stakeholder management, hiring manager, it's like the biggest pay recruiters, or you make it or make it because of that. And all the companies I've been in, we are actually building up how do we support, train, teach hiring managers also, to interview, to understand the process and be themselves like more owners of the process, because eventually they are hiring managers, they should be doing the hiring, meaning also all the tools, for my experience, shouldn't be only like, let's say, recruiters tool, but also recruiter team tools that also the hiring manager takes it, okay, it's super cool, it's super easy, fast adoption, and I can do it myself.
Yeah.
I would love that word that they should, okay, I don't need your help, I can do it myself. And the chatbot is teaching them and saying feedback to their interviews or process and so on. Something like that happening
I'm
there.
excited if we ever get to this point, Renita.
Yeah,
Like,
I have
maybe-
high hopes.
I'll do it myself. I love it so much. I'll do it myself.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the goal.
Maybe I can pick this up. SmartRecruiters has always been really, really strong in collaboration and to bringing the hiring manager really close to or making him a real part of the hiring team. And therefore, we developed an app where the hiring manager can really do everything he needs to do, like schedule interview. It's like exact interviews. Collaborate with a team, or to review candidates. So everything is that is something we that already exists in the system, and I think that is something where we always be really good in, but. So in terms of AI, I think there is. It depends on who will use this. I mean, this is developed for recruiters and for recruiting teams. But if you're in Smart Recruiters, part of the hiring team, also the hiring managers can see this and can work with this.
Great. I think it's really, really interesting to see how you're using it across the different spaces. Also from where we were last time, Daniel, with what you showed us, and then adding this on top, it's just like the next kind of feature that you can see how it'll fit into your flow, and it's all built into your system, which is obviously very nice. That it's not, something external or something you have to really click away to, which is also good. So yeah, thank you very much for showing us around. I really appreciate it. Is there anything final from Smart Recruiters side, from either you or Gabe?
No, I think thank you. Thanks for your time, for give us the opportunity to show you Winston, to give you a quick overview. And if you have some more questions, or if anyone who see this has some questions, then please feel free to reach out.
Yes, of course. I mean, also, again, thank you again for spending your time showing us that this has been really insightful. I think, Renita, thank you as well for your time, for asking questions, for, getting into what's needed for, recruiting teams on the ground these days. If you are looking, for an ATS, if you want to know more, you could, like Daniel said, you can reach out to them directly. You can also find them on Stacked under Smart Recruiters. And of course, we will see you again next week for the next demo. So don't forget to follow along the journey and keep up to date with all the tech out there. And we're going to sign off. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.